there are many kinds of habits that we as mothers engage in. I think that's where it starts. We can talk all day about training our children in habits, but if we don't have good habits, it's going to just be hypocrisy and actually lead to bitterness and rebellion. Homeschool moms are like Saint Benedict. We, in our homes, are keeping old practices alive. People today barely eat meals around a table. They barely read books to their children. They barely read the Bible out loud, and we are keeping these things alive in our homes. And in so doing, we're saving civilization. And I know that might sound a little grandiose, but really the work we're doing as homeschool moms is so impactful and so world saving.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to put that. So could you describe a little bit about what your definition of habits are that build a sacred home? And here's why I ask. When most of us as mothers think about habit training, think about habits, we are particularly focused on, let's get our kiddos to have a daily habit of brushing their teeth the first thing in the morning. Let's make a habit of making a bed. Let's make a habit of you bring your laundry down every single morning, or, very, very practical, body-based, home-based kinds of things. Is that how you would describe the word habit?
I mean, those are important habits, but the book is centered around 9 values. And so, it's called Habits for a Sacred Home, and sacred really means consecrated. It doesn't mean perfect. And so these values are things like order, simplicity, stewardship, prayer. And then the habits are the ways that we put these values into practice. So for instance, if your family has a value for prayer, then maybe you will have morning and evening prayers. Maybe you will make sure you have a morning habit of praying before you look at your phone. If your family has a value for work or a rule of life that says that work is part of our family culture, then your habit might be making sure the dishes are done before you go to bed at night, or making home-cooked meals for your family. So there are many kinds of habits that we as mothers engage in. I think that's where it starts. Like, we can talk all day about training our children in habits, but if we don't have good habits, it's going to just be hypocrisy and actually lead, I think often those kinds of behaviors, like a parent behaving one way and telling their child to act another way, is often what leads to bitterness and rebellion.
Ooh, okay. All right. So let's go there. Do you believe that this is a concept for homeschoolers in general, whether or not they follow a certain practice, a certain method where habit training is something that's actually laid out for them to do?
Yes. I mean, this should be for all families, at least all Christian families who are like rooted and grounded in the Word of God. But Charlotte Mason definitely considered habits as like 1/3 of the education. Her motto was, education is an atmosphere, a discipline, and a life. And so the atmosphere is like partly our example and the home that we create. But then the discipline of habits was 1/3 of the content, like just the habit of attentiveness, or the habit of doing your best work, or the habit of caring for each other, courtesy, respect, things like that. Those were a third of what she would have considered the curriculum in a sense. And I think that there's, it's a mistake if we pile on a lot of academics and we don't have basic habits of virtue in our homes. Because, for instance, if you want to homeschool, but your children will not listen to you, it's going to be really hard to get anything done. And so you have to start with a habit of order or habit of respect. If you yell all the time, then your children are going to be in fight and flight, and they're going to have a really hard time learning. And so you, as the mom, need to develop a habit of gentle speech or a habit of self-control. So there are all these habits that coalesce to make a happy and peaceful homeschool. And some of them are habits that we're teaching our kids, but they're all habits that we should be modeling as well.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.